Hi guys, welcome back to Bear Conversations, a vulnerable space for real people and their real faith. I'm your host Daniela, and I make videos every Wednesday about different topics I find interesting, all about self-improvement. So if that sounds interesting, I'd love for you to stay and get into this episode. Today we're doing something different. I'm very excited. We have a guest for the first time. Well, actually not for the first time. We've done Bear Conversations before, but that was a whole different format. And if you've watched it before, or if you actually look down on my page, you'll see that I did an interview with this person before. But this time we're doing on the topic of the season, which is breaking cycles. So I brought in a guest today just to talk about his experience with breaking cycles. What are some cycles he's overcome in his life and how he did that? It's a very casual conversation, something very chill. And yeah, it's just so that we can have other perspectives that are just not my own. So yeah, if that sounds interesting to you at all, please stick around and listen. And yeah, we can get straight into it. Okay, bye. Okay, so guys, we have our guest here, Damien. If you don't know and you haven't seen my video before, he's my brother, and he's there's about a 4-year age gap between us, and he's been through different things. Essentially, he's like grown into being an entrepreneur. He's learned different things, overcome a lot of things, overcome moving countries, very some of the things that I've been through, and just from a male lens. That's why I really like talking to him and I like engaging with him. So yeah, let's just welcome him. Hi, Damien. How are you?
I'm fine.
They're great. Cool.
Happy to be here.
Are you cold?
Yeah, a little bit.
Bundle up.
No.
Okay, so we're just going to get straight into it to keep it simple and easy to listen to. So, do you want to introduce yourself first to the audience?
Yeah. My name is Damien. I'm Daniel's brother. I'm known as the investment where I wholesale shoes and other items. Yeah, I'm a Christian. I've been a Christian my whole life, but I fully became a proper Christian in the first year of uni. Yeah. I've grown as a person a lot since then. Graduated last year, so yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. Thank you for introducing yourself. So, we'll get straight into it. My first question I have for you today is what does breaking cycles kind of mean to you?
Breaking cycles to me basically means not necessarily turning off a new leaf, but just stopping what once was normal to you. Yeah, what was counted as normal. Way some people might not see it as normal, but what was your norm that isn't normal in the eye of biblical terms and eye of everyone else.
Okay. So, it's like, because I want to maybe push into what you mean by normal a little bit more. Do you mean like how, explain that a little bit more
How
so
you
we
cope,
can get it?
how you cope with certain situations,
Mm,
certain just how you cope with certain situations. That was to me anyways.
yeah.
That's how I consider it. That's how I view it.
Mm-hmm. So like basically natural tendencies and then because you also mentioned biblical views. So like comparing your natural tendencies to what God actually says we should do, right? Okay, that's cool. That's very much kind of aligned with what I've talked about already. It's just kind of looking at the patterns in our life and then seeing if they actually serve us or if they don't serve us.
Yeah.
So for you then, what cycles have you observed in your life, if you have at all?
Um I I was tend to be I won't say a people pleaser, but I didn't like confrontation much.
Mm,
Especially with people that I thought that were above me, like bosses, just people in a high position,
yeah, an
right?
authority.
Yeah, people in authority. Yeah, even sometimes, even with family, I would just tend to leave situations because I didn't want the hassle of the argument, or emotionally, I didn't like being in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, when did you then first started to notice that this was maybe like a cycle in your life?
Mm, um, we grew up in Nigeria most of our lives.
Yeah.
In Nigeria, people are tend to be nice or and to ask you questions instead of like you actually are going to say, oh, this and that. Like you can fall down and people ask you, oh, are you okay? Do you need to do this? Do you need to? You don't even have to ask. They're just people are just always happy to help. Moving to when we moved to the UK, it was like a different thing because
Cool.
you actually have to speak up.
Mm.
So and I wasn't really fond of speaking because even at the time when we moved, you just don't want to. What's the word? You don't want to seem because you just moved. You don't even want to speak and say the wrong thing to look to me to just be
You're
look.
not self-conscious.
Yeah, it's more self conscious. So that's one of the reasons why that became a normal in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I really realized it was in uni, probably I'm in lecture, I don't want to speak up. I have questions to ask, I don't want to talk.
Okay.
In A levels wasn't a problem because my teachers would always ask me because they saw that I don't really like to speak much.
Yeah.
And people around me will always say, people that don't know me are people that have been around me that are not very, very close to me, say Damien doesn't really speak much or stuff like that. So it just slowly became a normal thing because people that wanted to help me, it became a convenience. Like people that wanted to help me. So God has always been in my life where that I didn't necessarily have to fight for anything like with my voice. So then it slowly just became a normal thing.
Yeah.
Then later I clocked because when you're in university, you're in college, it's not really a problem. When you're in real world, you're an adult now, you have to actually speak up. You have to actually have to say what's on your mind. So that's when I started realizing, yeah, I don't really like to speak. Thingy. I'll be my friends, and obviously have a business in it. They'll be like, that guy does the same thing as you. You should go speak to him. I say, no, I don't really want to speak to him. I just do my own thing. But I realized that community is very important, stuff like that. So that's when I started to try to push myself little by little. And sometimes people, it's not necessarily a bad thing to speak up and say, I don't like what this person has done to me. You're not inconveniencing anyone by telling your feelings. More or less, you're even inconveniencing the other person by not letting them know.
It's true, yeah.
You're holding back information that will probably be valuable to them. So yeah.
I really like that you said that at the end about like when you do kind of speak up or express your needs, you're actually not inconveniencing people as much as you think internally. If anything, it's worse not to speak up. That is when resentment can show up. That's where like misunderstandings happen. And that's like in the season so far, I've kind of pointed to some things there, but I like that like you naturally started to notice that thing happening. And I think another thing that I found interesting that you picked up, that you said, sorry, was you'd grown up with a lot of people to already advocate for you. You'd already grown up in spaces where you didn't really need to speak up, or people already already asked
happy
you.
to help.
Yeah, exactly. And even in Nigeria, the culture was more of people did ask continuously. Like people were, I would say they are nosy, but they do involve themselves.
They
quite
involve themselves. They
deeply.
try to put they like put their mind like as if they're yours. So
They empathize.
yeah, empathize a lot. They put you first.
Yeah. Okay, it's true. To be fair, I would. That's one of my favorite things about Nigeria culture as well. It's very community based, so people do.
I remember when we first moved back. The first moved back was summer school.
Yeah, Nigeria.
Yeah, Nigeria was summer school. I fell down. It was the weirdest experience I've ever felt. Like
Really?
that was the proper time I had a culture shock because I fell down. Like 7 people came around me. Are you okay? Are you okay? And these are kids. This is not even adults. Everyone's like,
because you were only like,
I was
you were probably like what,
yeah,
6, 7?
Yeah,
Because I was about 10, and there's a 4 gap, so you're like 6, 7.
yeah,
Wow.
like 6, 7.
Yeah.
I was so shocked because we were living in Ireland them times. Ireland, if you fall down, it's only your teacher probably you wouldn't even say anything. So yeah, it was so weird for me.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to move the camera a bit because I feel like I want them to look at you a bit more. That's okay. But yes, I definitely that to be fair, I like that you kind of pointed that out. I've never really made that connection. I didn't even realize you had that experience. Because Nigeria is a very community based. Like if something happens to someone, everyone kind of either chips in or actively partakes in, maybe not necessarily resolving, but putting their attention on that person. And it is important because you don't realize how much alone it feels when something bad happens and no one like speaks to you. And that is more common in
the business thing.
Yeah, everyone's minding their business, and that's very common in Western culture. So yeah, I can imagine like after obviously growing up first in Western culture, being kind of on your own, isolated, then going to Nigeria where it's very community based, and you didn't really have to grow up. Like you moved from your adult, like from being a child to your teen years, being kind of protected and people advocating for you, then getting to now coming back again in your teens, your late teens to adulthood, realize, oh, actually I need to talk. That's that
There wasn't much.
true
It wasn't really much as a young adult. Like university at the end of the day. Is when you leave university, it was not like
needed to.
a grown man now should be able to speak about it.
True. And the perspective, I like that you said that actually from a man's perspective, because I think sometimes the expectations are very different. And the the empathy you might get is not as much as
Yeah.
you probably deserve, especially even amongst even other guys. Sometimes I think everyone kind of just believes that everyone is okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
you can speak a little bit onto that.
I feel like I just feel it doesn't really sometimes have to do with like being a man as well. It's just like being a person. You want to be a person that you can only stand on your own.
Mm,
That's what Daddy always told me as well. He always says as a man, but I always believe like every human being
every
should
person.
should stand as his own. But he always made that big.
Distinction.
He made a big thing. Like I think that's the reason still to this day he still says some things that he doesn't say to you guys because he always tries to say you need to learn to stand on your own because that kind of grew up in a way that he's he had to do a lot when he was a young man.
He did,
He,
yeah.
he had
He
to stand.
carried a lot
He
of
has to stand for
expenses.
himself. Yeah. So he's always trying to show him that. And I never ever saw it as a big thing because I see that he sees me and he sees that I can do that
Yeah.
because that is the type of person that only says things to people based on his belief and what they can do. So I always think, oh, he always says that to me because he knows I can do it. So
Yeah.
so
That's really nice.
yeah,
It's nice to kind of know that obviously like Daddy sees a lot in you.
yeah.
And therefore when he pushes you in that way to kind of be independent or at least be able to hold yourself independently.
I thought at the start it was just very, very mean to me, but he always says it to be fair that when you grow up, you realize.
You understand why? I mean, if we're being honest, I know he's going to watch this, but if we're being honest, his methods could have been a little bit better.
But
Even though his reasons were always correct.
yeah,
Maybe
but
methods.
that's the thing.
could have-
I think all of us have learned to just
yeah.
understand the meaning behind it.
Yeah. Interpretation matters more.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for kind of giving us a bit of backstory and then I feel like a lot of people might be able to relate to that. So if you do, put it in the comments, thanks. So as you now notice this cycle as it kind of showed up as you were growing up and you've entered the real world, you've graduated now, what ways and what like methods did you do to like kind of tackle this or like resolve? I don't know if resolve is the right word, but like basically break this cycle in your life so that you can actively be better, because from what I understood, correct me if I'm wrong, it sounded like that cycle wasn't serving you, it was actually hurting you more than
it
anything.
was hurting me more. I think if I started like actually tackling the situation or realized it sooner, I would have been in a better position in life, just in every aspect. But everything happens at a reason. Everything happens at its own time.
Yeah.
But even in college, I don't even think my speech was the best because I was chilling a lot with my friends, and when you're with your friends, you don't really speak properly.
You
You just talk like I'm in a switching accent, Nigerian. You just talk. Then I remember even Daddy and he always say that you don't know how to speak to people, and I haven't seen my little brother at times, but I know like I was at that point sometimes. But
Of course.
I just started forcing myself to speak to more people, and even though I was just going out to uni, I'll just say, let me try to speak to 3 people.
Oh, that's
Like receptionist, I'll just try to hold a conversation. Yeah, I just should try to hold a conversation with like, regular people because when you're with your friends, it's different. You can hold a conversation with your friends. You don't even have to speak properly. They understand you.
Yeah, it's kind
Family as well. I say things. I'm not even saying the right word, but they know what I'm saying. Even when I speak, I try to be louder because I tend to have a lower tone when I'm speaking to people. People can't really hear me, so I try to enunciate my words more, and be more vocal. So I just started slowly doing that. Started putting myself in uncomfortable positions, like when I go out now, speaking to people similar business to me. Like I don't just go there now and say when I'm buying pairs of like yesterday when me and Harry went to go deliver pairs to people. The guy we delivered him the pairs. Then normally I'll just go.
Yeah.
Start having conversation.
Nice.
Ask people, oh, do you have Instagram? Do you have this? Do you have that? Just trying to have a conversation. Like he went to an event before. I asked him how was the event. So just trying to have a conversation, just to not only to relate with my customers, but just to build my own confidence as well, to speaking to people as well. And I used to find it harder to do with people like with different background. Let me say because I'm West African, Nigerian. It's easier to speak to people
In the same culture.
yeah, because I've lived that life. I've been around them.
Yeah, and we speak the same.
You speak the same, and then we have the same. Most of us have the same
Accents.
interests, all of that.
Slangs.
The slangs exactly. But I try to speak to more people, white people, Asian people. I don't even have a lot of white friends, but I try to speak to them more because there's literally no difference between us. It's just a little bit of culture, and boys will always be boys at the end of this.
Yeah.
We always have the same thing in common. So yeah, I've just started doing that slowly.
Yeah.
I'm not still the best at it. I still get nervous from time to time. I get very nervous. Even now, you remember in restaurants, I don't normally like speaking to people. I try to speak to people now.
Good.
I try to say also my mind.
Yeah.
Even before, like I don't used to like when I order food or the food's not nice. I never.
You wouldn't want to complain, or send things back.
But even the other day, went to Greg's, the hot chocolate was not nice. I asked them what can you give me there. So yeah, little things like that. I just use it to build myself. Say if I don't like it, I should just speak up.
Just say, because there's so many people speaking up all the time. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people also who also do not speak up, but then you don't lose anything. It's within your rights. Yeah, you're not being
you're not inconveniencing.
Yeah, you're not inconveniencing anybody. You're not acting like, oh, you deserve the whole world. You're literally just asking for what you have a right to.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm really proud.
Even 2 years ago, if she asked me to do the post, I would never do.
Really? To be fair, I'm really proud of you. Like I feel like such a big sister. I'm really proud of you. Oh, well done. So I wanted to kind of point out some of the methods you said directly. And maybe I'll like try and condense them later on. But so what I kind of heard was you'd force yourself into like uncomfortable situations. You try to hold wherever you could, like in more casual settings, like you said, the receptionist at uni. You try to hold like just small talk essentially.
Small talk, yeah.
You try to do small talk. You'd show an interest in more people, like ask them about how was your event, how was your day, what they're interested in, and then you also push yourself out of your immediate circle to start talking to other races, other cultures, because you realize there's not much difference. It's just that you actually just needed to talk instead of picking what was safe.
Exactly.
And I think those are really awesome methods.
Even in business as well, I used to normally I'll message people, but I said, "Oh, do you wanna hop on a call?"
Okay.
So just to make myself like always, at the end of the day, but I'm buying and selling, so sales is a good skill to have. So being able to speak to people and showing them the value you can offer them is also a good way. What you asked me about, what was the main reason that made me to change?
The question was like, how did you realize that it was a cycle in your life and it needed changing?
Okay, I already answered that.
I think you already answered.
I was just wanted to mention there was like two main factors that
cool.
made me change. It was once that the one remember when Jesus was outside the synagogue?
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, and people were selling in front of the market, and people were really angry, and he pushed off all of that.
So everywhere.
And like Jesus was very nice. But he was like very direct, and he wasn't afraid to confront people. Even every person God used in the Bible. Remember what's the name? Who was it? Moses
too, yeah. Moses, I remember Moses told God that I'm not very good at speaking.
Yes, exactly. Like when I read that story, I always felt like Moses in the Bible because I felt like my siblings were speaking for me. My family was the one that was speaking for me. They were the one that was helping me. But at some point, Moses, he stood on his own. At the start, it wasn't very good, but he became a good leader.
That's actually true,
Same with David was very bold, but at the same time, David had people around him helping him.
Yeah.
But he was
the youngest among his brothers.
He became very confident. Joseph as well.
Yeah.
Joseph was
one of the
exactly. He was, but all of these people, they were not very good at the start, but they grew into them. So they had the confidence that God was with them and God was gonna push them through.
Okay.
So yeah.
So did that kind of also? I really like that you obviously mentioned very specific, biblical like people and people in the Bible, obviously. And did that kind of tell you that, oh, if God did it for them, he could do it for me? Or was it more of...
It was more like...
use them as role models?
It was more of like, they're not far from me. They're not far from me. The stories are not as far as what you think it is. So like, all these people can come from wherever they came from.
Yeah, the most basic backgrounds, really.
God was
very normal background.
God was very intentional about that, using the lowest of low people. Like from... David was from the tribe of Benjamin. Benjamin was like one of the smallest tribes, and he was the youngest one as well. So he's using the lowest of low to show people that it's not necessarily about you yourself, but it's about what God has put in you. So
I rate that.
So I use that as a like platform to say, you know what, life is not that serious. People
Yeah.
have done it before. People after me will have the same problem. People before me have had the same problem. So I could grow out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Then
Love that.
remember the time when you had an argument, my mom was here, that Harry, Ashley, me, Drew. Then the argument was basically was basically that you were frustrated. Then you're saying, why you always complaining, that when you do the same to us, we don't complain. Then he was like, because you're not complaining doesn't give me the right not to complain. You can't brush, because you're brushing your feelings don't mean someone else should brush their feelings. I was like, that's true. Why am I brushing my feelings? That's what, even though the thing wasn't really about me, but that's why I also got like, why am I not speaking up about my, if I feel like,
You feel away.
and I feel like that was what I learned that was so bad, because not only was I not speaking about things that I feel about, like even the smallest things, but I then started to, things that I actually do care about, I started to force myself not to care.
I
It
see.
was very tough
Okay.
for me to myself.
Yeah. Just for context, so I think I do remember the argument, but the details don't matter.
So I don't remember what the argument was about, but
The
but that's
details
what I
don't
got
really
from the thing.
matter. But then what was said essentially was, well, and I always have this opinion, is that just because even the two of us did the exact same thing, if you don't mind, I'm allowed to mind, and I'm allowed to say that I don't like that something's been done to me.
Yeah.
And if you also don't like it, you need to say something. Just because you refuse to say something doesn't mean I'm not allowed to say something. And I'm surprised. I'm surprised that you.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm surprised that like you even took that on. Not saying that like I didn't expect you to, but like
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was just obviously said in passing.
Yeah, because I don't even remember the conversation very
Yes.
but I remember that's why I got that, like that day I was like, yeah.
So
Because
you were what, because you said, sorry to interrupt you.
yeah.
You said before that you were suppressing your negative emotions too because of fear of talking.
maybe Ashley's our sister, by the way.
Yeah.
Ashley's very blunt. She's very blunt. Ashley can say something to Harry or to you, anyone else, and they'll complain. Ashley say something to me, I'll just brush it, I'll say that's how she is. But whereas I don't like she said that.
No,
She said that
she
to
said
me.
that, yeah.
But I'm not speaking up because I don't know, because I live my life like that. So
Yeah.
like I'm me complaining or just making a fuss about it. It's just like, why what's the point? There's no point speaking in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was doing that for a long time. Then that conversation helped me realize that if you have a problem with it, you have to speak up, because you can't live your life that way. You're then gonna make it normal in your home when you get your own family, your relationship,
That is true.
friendships as well.
It's true.
You're gonna end up resenting people for no reason, because you're just bearing everything within. So yeah.
I really like that you said that. I think it's important to kind of hit home to let people know that like, especially it will carry on like these cycles. I know that they seem small in
They seem
at the
small,
beginning, but then
they add up.
but your feelings, what you like, what you want for yourself, it all matters, and you should be able to tell people. And if people love you enough, they will change accordingly. So since you've started to now speak up a bit more and you've like pushed yourself out of your comfort zone, have you seen any change like in your business, in your relationships, in your friendships? Like what has been the results of trying?
The results have been, I'd say, been crazy for me, because also I see myself now more as a man of God, because I'm bold in the way I speak. I'm bold in myself. I'm confident. I was always confident in myself, but it never sounded like it. But I'm confident who I am.
Yeah, and you
As
can
a
express it
person.
too.
Yeah, as a person, as anything basically in my life right now. I'm confident within anything I do now. Um, yeah, in business as well, it's helped me because I speak to more people. I create more meaningful relationships. So yeah, it's very good. Now, I even within family, I state my feelings. With my dad as well. With my dad, always had the relationship
Just
that
knock heads a little bit.
we knock heads a little bit, because we're different people, innit? But now I speak to my dad. We try to understand each other. Even dad has been more open to hearing me out.
There's better communication.
He has better communication. So all aspects of my life, I feel like it's really improved me, because I chose one day to start speaking up and saying my mind, and it's as simple as that. So it just makes you a confident person.
Yeah, definitely. Oh well, me personally, I can definitely see it. I can definitely see that the more you speak up, the more your leadership skills started to improve. I feel like it's not as if it's something that you didn't have before, but then I think even without trying or without even me having to look hard, I can tell that you are a leader. And I tell that you can guide and you can be like, you've always been trustworthy, but like I can tell that you can be fully trusted to basically stand up for yourself and the people around you, which is awesome.
And you don't have to do it in a dominant way.
Like you're so soft spoken.
Yeah, I'm probably the least dominant person you ever meet. I'm very, I don't even know how I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I would say you're soft spoken.
Yeah, I'm very soft spoken, but I've learned to just speak for myself and speak out. Just be confident in yourself. Confidence doesn't mean you're the loudest in the room. You can be the quietest in the room, but still be very confident in yourself. That's what I learned. So I always saw confidence as speaking out as being the loudest in the room, being the most talkative, being the annoying person, disruptive. Just sometimes even just people call it being black at the same time.
Yeah, it's true. They do attribute some of that to speaking out to being black.
Yeah.
Which sometimes I side eye because I think it's just that our culture encourages it more than other cultures.
And
it has nothing to do with skin color. It's more of the culture you grew up in.
And me being a black person, being Nigerian, you think I'm outspoken, very outgoing.
Yeah.
I'm probably not.
They think you're an extrovert.
I'm not.
They all assume this. I think because they see the loudest Nigerian online, they see the loudest Nigerians in music. They watch. They just watch everything. They don't realize that actually not everyone's like that. Like being black and being West African and being Nigerian, there's no monolith. Like we are all, there's a range. We're so unique in different ways. So when you've only been seen, or people are holding you to stereotypes, it kind of makes it harder for you to be yourself, right? But I'm glad that you kind of were able to push past it. Because you don't have to be what is a typical black guy needs to be. That's not realistic. You be who God says you should be, right?
Yeah, 100%. So you are who you are. You can't change who you are.
Amen.
It's better to be comfortable with it. And at the end of the day, you'll find the right people that always compliment you in every single way. So that's what I learned. So being yourself is not an insult to no one. It's not an inconvenience for anyone, or more of a blessing to someone.
Woo! Yeah. Amen. We love that. We love that. Okay. So to kind of round it up, because I think we've spoken for like 20 minutes now, what advice would you give someone who has maybe like noticed similar cycles in their life, is struggling with some of the let me kind of mention some of the topics I've had in the podcast so far: struggling to say no, struggling to speak up, struggling with self-confidence or liking themselves, and maybe even struggling with friendships or feeling like they're being like that. Their relationships and in their lives, like friendship, family, even romantic, they're struggling to basically push or grow or speak up in their spaces. What advice would you give them?
Okay. Can you just start? We can do one by one.
Yeah, sorry, one by one.
Okay, which one do you start?
Okay, let's start with what advice would you give someone who basically struggles to speak up?
Speak up.
Yes, speak up for themselves in general.
I'll say just start by saying yourself little tasks in the day to speak to more people, even just a hello.
Yeah.
Hello to a person that's walking by. You're right. Just as simple as that. Then reading your Bible is very important because you don't know how much of confidence boost that Bible actually gives you. Reading the word, having it in your heart, just knowing it back in your mind, like, wow, this situation happened to this guy. He still came out of it. He was in a worse situation. He didn't have someone needing him. He didn't have this and that. He just had God and himself. Just remember, anything inside of you, you're good. You don't need to worry. Like, you have anything you want to do, you can do it. So just that little self-belief. I know it can be hard at the start, very hard for me, but just pushing yourself, like, just try.
Yeah,
try. You don't lose anything by trying. So, and eventually you would get there. So I feel like is there a speed bump that you can just go over?
Yeah, so
you know how you go over speed bump slowly, but you go around it. Don't need to rush. Eventually you find your step.
Amen. Love that.
This took me like 4 years to get over. So yeah.
But you're doing great. You're doing great. Okay. And then another one is, what advice would you give someone who is maybe struggling to, I feel like you've already touched on it a bit with about like liking yourself and kind of pushing, feeling like they have to be a certain way just to be, to break certain cycles. Like they have to go follow stereotypes. Like, you know how you said that you thought that you had to be loud to be confident or to be heard. What would you say to someone who basically just needs to remember that being yourself is okay, or is kind of pushing back on stereotypes? And basically they've seen, because sorry, I'm saying it really messy. They've seen so many ways of how it's meant to be done, but they don't feel like that's actually what suits them, and they don't want to fake it, but they still want to be more confident and speak up. What advice would you give them?
Your way is the best way. Your way is the best way. You don't need to, Generally, nobody cares. Nobody cares. When you stop seeing your life as this is my life. This is how it's gonna affect me. No, the world is broader. Like everything is bigger. So if you think outside yourself, you realize that it's not that deep. Just take the step. Like be yourself. Is the only self you can be in it. So I feel like just be you and just be open minded that if I do this thing, nothing changes.
Yeah, like you're not gonna die.
Nothing changes the world. Like the world just keeps spinning. Everything.
It's true. It's true. If you do it, you don't do it. The world's still gonna spin. So you're better off doing it.
That's how I like this in here. Like your problems that you thought about that was the end of your world when you were like in year 8.
Yeah.
You went past it.
It's true. It's true. It's true. The problems that felt so massive years ago. That's actually my experience as well. Problems that felt massive so long ago, I don't even remember them now.
Exactly. You don't even think
And
them now.
the problems that feel big today, I'm not gonna remember them in 2 years' time.
Exactly.
So you might as well. Yeah.
That's like that's how I keep moving every day. Like this is a problem now. Yes, it's a problem now in the moment. I'm not doing this value that's a problem now in the moment. But
What's that problem for that?
it was not going to be a problem. For a week will go by, you probably wouldn't even remember. You're complaining about it or you're struggling.
Yeah. Good to put things in perspective. That's awesome. Thank you, Damien. I feel like you've said a lot of great gems, and we're all like, I've taken stuff from it, and it'll need a lot of like time to kind of digest it properly. But I feel like you said a lot of great things, and I'm glad that you've also been able to kind of break free and identify your cycles and push past them in the right way. Yeah, thank you. If you have any last words or anything you'd like to share, it doesn't even have to be related to the topic, anything random. Yeah, feel free to say it.
The sooner you accept yourself, the sooner life becomes easier.
Yeah.
As soon as you accept who you are and where you are and the position you are in life becomes easier because you can start growing, you can start setting boundaries, you start moving the right way with God.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Damien.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. And time has gone so quickly. I didn't realize that so much time has passed. But yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, I did that so quick.
Okay, well, the video is not done because I didn't say bye.
Sorry, remembered.
Okay, I'm going to say bye. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for watching. It was really nice actually having a guest for the first time. So if you enjoyed that, please do put a comment below. I'll put Damien's socials and his business in the description box if you're interested at all. But yeah, thank you again for watching Bird Conversations. It was great to talk to you. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.